Welcome to our channel where we delve into the darkest and most mysterious tales from around the world. Places where the veil between our world and the next wears thin. Places like ancient ruins, forgotten asylums, and tonight's subject, remote monasteries. These secluded outposts of faith, often nestled high in the mountains or hidden deep within ancient forests, hold secrets. Tonight we bring you 3 spine-chilling stories of unexplained phenomena in these remote monasteries. Make sure to turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare to be terrified. High in the Himalayas, shrouded in mist and legend, sits the Taksang Monastery, also known as the Tiger's Nest. It clings precariously to a cliff face, a testament to the devotion of the monks who built it and those who call it home. But within the echoing halls and silent courtyards, a different kind of devotion lingered, a spectral presence known only as the Phantom Monk.
Generations of monks whisper of this entity, a figure robed in the traditional maroon and saffron, his face forever obscured by the deep hood. He's not bound by the limitations of the physical structure, appearing in different parts of the monastery, always silent, always watching.
Some believe the Phantom Monk is the spirit of a former monk, one who met an untimely end within the monastery walls centuries ago. They say he was a scholar, obsessed with unlocking ancient secrets hidden within the monastery's vast library. His pursuit of forbidden knowledge, according to legend, led to his demise, his spirit unable to find peace. Others believe he is a protector, a guardian of the sacred grounds and the knowledge held within. They say his presence is a blessing, a sign that the monastery is under divine protection.
But whatever the truth of his origin, his presence is undeniable. Monks on their way to early morning prayers report seeing the Phantom Monk, a fleeting glimpse of movement in the pre-dawn light. They've recounted feeling a cold presence brush past them in the narrow corridors, accompanied by the faint scent of sandalwood and saffron, the traditional incense of the monastery.
One young initiate, new to the monastery and skeptical of the stories, found himself alone in the main hall late one night. As he knelt in prayer, he heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps approaching. He looked up, expecting to see one of his fellow monks, but the hall was empty. Yet the footsteps continued, slow and deliberate, circling him. Terrified, the young initiate squeezed his eyes shut, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the presence moving closer, the air growing heavy and cold. Finally, summoning his courage, he opened his eyes. There, standing in the dim light of the butter lamps, was the silhouette of a monk, tall and imposing. The young initiate could have sworn he saw the faint outline of a face, filled with an unworldly sadness. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the figure vanished. The stories of the Phantom Monk continue to this day, each encounter adding to the legend. Deep in the Bavarian Alps, hidden amongst towering pines and shrouded in folklore, lies the Kloster Weltenberg, one of the oldest monasteries in Germany. Its history stretches back over 1,000 years, marked by both periods of tranquility and times of great turmoil. And within its walls there lies a structure cloaked in dread and whispered warnings, the cursed bell tower.
The tower itself is a masterpiece of medieval architecture, its stone weathered by centuries of harsh weather, yet still standing tall. The bell it houses, cast centuries ago, is said to possess an otherworldly resonance, its chimes carrying a note of sorrow that chills the soul.
But it's not the architecture, nor the acoustics that have instilled fear in the hearts of those who reside at Kloster Weltenberg. It's the legend of the curse, a tale passed down through generations of monks. Legend has it that the bell tower was built by a master craftsman who fell deeply in love with a local woman. Their love was forbidden, their different social standings an insurmountable obstacle in the eyes of the village. Driven to despair, the craftsman poured his anguish and longing into the creation of the bell, imbuing it with his broken heart. When the bell was finally hung and rung for the first time, its toll was said to have been infused with such sorrow that it caused the craftsman's beloved to perish from a broken heart. Devastated by his role in her demise, the craftsman took his own life within the bell tower, his final cries echoing with the mournful ringing of the bell.
From that day forward, the bell tower was said to be cursed. Anyone who dared ring the bell, it was said, would suffer the same fate as the heartbroken lovers. misfortune, tragedy, and untimely death would befall them and their loved ones. The monks of Kloster Weltenberg, ever mindful of the curse, forbid the ringing of the bell. It remained silent, a chilling monument to a love lost and a life taken too soon.
Yet despite the silence, the bell tower continued to be a source of unease and dread. Monks on their nightly rounds reported hearing the faint sound of the bell tolling in the dead of night, its mournful chime seeming to emanate from the very walls of the tower. These occurrences were always followed by a string of misfortunes. Illness would sweep through the monastery, crops would fail, and accidents would plague the nearby village.
One particularly devout monk, determined to break the curse, decided to confront the source of the ringing. Armed with nothing but a rosary and his unwavering faith, he ascended the narrow, winding staircase of the bell tower late one stormy night. As he climbed, the wind howled around the tower, and the sound of his own heartbeat echoed in his ears. He reached the top, the air thick with the metallic scent of old iron and something else, something ancient and oppressive. Stepping into the belfry, he saw it, the massive bell hanging silently in the center of the room. But as he watched, the bell began to sway, ever so slightly, as if pushed by an invisible hand.
Then it happened. The bell tolled. A single, bone-jarring peal that seemed to reverberate through the monk's very soul. He staggered back, his blood turning to ice. And nestled amidst the rolling hills of the Irish countryside, concealed by a veil of mist and ancient oaks, sits the Kylemore Abbey. Once a grand private home, it was later converted into a Benedictine monastery, its walls echoing with centuries of history and whispers of the ethereal. Within its hallowed halls there lies a chamber that has captivated the imaginations and stoked the fears of visitors and monks alike, the haunted library. The library itself is a testament to a bygone era, a sanctuary of knowledge lined with towering bookshelves, home to countless volumes on theology, philosophy and history. Sunlight streams through stained glass windows, casting kaleidoscopic patterns across the antique furniture and well-worn rugs. But beneath the veneer of tranquility lies an undercurrent of unease, a sense that the library is not entirely of this world. The monks of Kylemore Abbey speak of the library with a mixture of reverence and trepidation. They say it's a place where the veil between the living and the dead thins, where the whispers of the past mingle with the rustling of pages. It's believed that the library is haunted by the spirits of the monks who once dedicated their lives to safeguarding its precious contents. One such spirit is said to be that of Brother Thomas, a blind monk renowned for his vast knowledge and uncanny ability to navigate the library's labyrinthine shelves with ease. Brother Thomas, despite his blindness, could locate any book within moments, guided, it was said, by the spirits of knowledge that resided within the library's walls. Visitors to the library have reported feeling a presence brush past them, a cold whisper against their skin despite the absence of drafts. Books have been known to fly from the shelves seemingly of their own accord, landing at the feet of unsuspecting guests. Some claim to have heard the faint murmur of voices engaged in hushed debates on forgotten theological topics, fading into silence as quickly as they began. One evening, a group of visiting scholars found themselves alone in the library, their research having stretched late into the night. As they huddled around a flickering gas lamp poring over ancient texts, they became aware of a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The air grew heavy, charged with a strange static electricity. The temperature plummeted, sending chills down their spines. Suddenly, the books on the nearby shelves began to tremble. One by one, they slid from their places, their pages flipping wildly, as if caught in a phantom wind. The scholars watched in astonishment and growing fear as a particularly large volume, bound in iron and leather, slammed open, landing on the table before them. The pages turned rapidly, revealing illustrations of arcane symbols and forgotten languages. Then, just as abruptly as it started, the activity ceased. The book lay open, its pages illuminated by the flickering lamplight. As one scholar reached out to touch the brittle parchment, a voice, barely audible but undeniably clear, echoed through the silent library. "Seek not knowledge that is forbidden. the voice whispered, its tone laced with an ancient weariness. The scholars, their blood turned to ice, could only stare at each other in silent terror. They gathered their belongings and fled the library, their minds racing with questions and their hearts pounding with a primal fear. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. The world is filled with places where logic falters and shadows hold sway. Monasteries, despite their peaceful intentions, seem particularly susceptible to these intrusions of the unexplained. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more terrifying tales. We have so much more to explore together. Until next time, stay safe and keep your lights on. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the reach of the